Hello, Earth Angels. Welcome back to another episode of Alignment Academy. It's your host, Kristen, and just so excited to be here with you on a solo again. You guys know I love my solo episodes where we get to hang out and just jam for however long, but I feel like it's long overdue just because I've had a lot of recordings, I've had a lot of interviews, and just excited to get intimate. The day that we're recording this, I've been through a portal, but this is after Joe Dispenza. It's after my mushroom retreat in Joshua Tree, and my mom came to visit. So I got home from my mushroom retreat on Sunday, and then my mom came to visit on Wednesday, and then now it's the following Tuesday and she just left. So I've been in yet again another portal. So it's funny. I didn't expect my mom's visit to be so deep and just healing, and it definitely threw me for a surprise. It actually felt like a spiritual journey. I don't know, guys. I just feel like everything's a spiritual journey at this point. But you know what I was thinking about this morning is that I actually am in my 7th year in numerology. And if you're not into numerology, I've actually really been into numerology a lot for like about a year now, but I just guess I don't talk about it. When my life blew up, I was in a 5 year, and 5 is like all about chaos. It's all about travel, kind of going where the wind blows you, lots of change, lots of just like chaos, basically. And then 6 years, a lot about partnerships, relationships. It's said to be the year that you either like break up with people or get in a relationship with people. Obviously, that didn't happen for me, but I did feel like there was a lot of key partnerships within like business that unfolded in my 6th year. And then now I'm in my 7th year, and 7 is all about, it's like deepening your spiritual journey. And, you know, in the beginning of this year, I'm like 7. I mean, I don't know how much deeper I can get on this. And then this year happened, right? We had Peru, we had Joe Dispenza, we had my mushrooms experience, we had the retreat I hosted, we had my mom coming, and I'm like, okay, I think that this is just my soul deepening. And, you know, sometimes you think you're done. You're like, I've healed everything. I've done everything that I needed to do. Everything's all good. But then you remember that the universe only expands, that consciousness only expands, that there's only ever expansion on the horizon. And all your soul wants to do is expand through new experiences. That's it. That's all we're here to do, is to learn and grow and evolve. And that's all that expansion process, right? And so as my soul does to me, I think my mom's just coming for a cute little visit. And holy shit, my mind is blown. I feel like this episode was not even on my horizon, guys. Like, I had 2 other episodes that I am planning on recording today. My mom leaves, and I have a note full of literally this note on my phone, guys. It's called, I feel like this is a FaceTime. Do you guys feel like this is a FaceTime? I'm like just talking to my best friends right now. It's called Ancestral Codes from Mom and Grandma, because as you guys know, my grandma rather was like a little psychic baddie. They don't call her that. Like they would never use these names, but she was super psychic. She was super tuned in, tapped in, close to God. She was my mom's mom. So my mom has all these codes that I didn't even know, because my grandma died a while ago. I literally don't know when she died, like over 5 years ago, I think now. And so I was pretty young. I mean, I still think younger 20s is like, you're not fully able to grasp everything that's happening. And so this time around, I feel like too, because I'm deeper on my path, I'm more intentional with like asking my mom what she's doing, why she's doing it, because my mom's interesting, right? Like she is so close to God, but in a different way than my grandma, where I felt like my grandma maybe has like that direct connection and like was super just could read energy and tapped in. But my mom was obviously her daughter, but I do think that my grandma was just like a whole level, another level of it. And they do say that like, you know, psychic abilities kind of like sometimes skip a generation. And I'm not saying that my mom isn't, but my mom is just like, she's just a very pure spirit. She's a very pure heart. She's prayed, you know, every single day that I've known her. She's never drank a sip of alcohol. She is very into her faith, you know, she's Baha'i. So, I mean, I don't know how much of this I've told you guys, but anyway, she visited me, and I feel like I'm just more intentional in asking her like, oh, did you just pray? Or like, what are you doing? Or why are you doing it? And I'm learning a lot. and I'm so happy. I actually wanted to bring her on the podcast, but this was just simply not the trip to do it. She kind of was a little sick and had this like sinus infection, which I actually think was a very deep parasite infection. I know, guys, you guys are like thinking I'm a parasite girl now, and I am, but I'm not kidding. Like I think she has like parasites in her respiratory. So literally had a Parafy kit here. We started her on the Parafy kit and she literally started feeling better 3 days in. We did a neti pot with Parafy, just like Kim said. Or wait, did Kim say that on the podcast or was that after? No, I think it was on the podcast. Yeah. If you guys listen to Kim Rogers' podcast, so we did all the things that Kim was saying about like the respiratory parasites, and my mom literally started feeling better. And she has all the other symptoms of parasites. So anyway, got her started on a parasite kit. We had a whole health journey with her here. It's interesting. Me and my mom, I feel like we're so close. I feel like me and my mom have been mother and daughter in a lot of lifetimes. Like, I feel like we just like know what to do. We've done it 1,000 times. We've been in this role, and that's that. But anyway, in this episode, I am going to give you some of the codes. I'm going to share some of the wisdom from my ancestors. When I was in Peru, I felt like I got back on this path of ancestral healing. And as you guys know, I'm an inner child girly, but I've never really resonated with these words, ancestral healing. I was like, ancestral healing, the fuck is that? Like, I'm just healing for myself, right? But then when I was in Peru and I was throwing up my ancestral trauma, it kind of brought me on a new path, let's say. And I kind of saw how the ancestors and my own journey it's all weaved together. And while I do think that my journey is a little bit more, I would say cosmic or quantum versus ancestral, I do think that there's a place for me to do ancestral healing. And I think I've been doing a lot of ancestral healing in the last 6 months, let's say. And with this healing, I feel called to share the knowledge of my ancestors because truly, guys, like my grandma was like low-key a fucking sage. Like she was so cool. And when I share these things that my mom has taught me that my grandma taught her, I don't know, they just like hit on a whole new level. And it seems like it's so fitting that I'm learning all of this right now because I reclaimed my relationship with prayer in Peru, and then I've been anchoring in prayer into my life and using prayer as one of my biggest healing modalities in the last, 4 months now. And now I feel like my mom and my grandma were such big prayer people, but I never really prayed. So now is the perfect time for me to be learning these things. And I'm just so excited to share them with you guys. I'm lit up. And literally like when I was deciding which episode to record first, I'm just like, I got to say this one because it's on my heart and it just is, it's exciting. So literally going to just go through a list of some things that I learned from my mom/grandma. Cool. That's what we're going to do today. Love you. So the first one is I always like have been really connected to the evil eye. I literally have an evil eye ring right here. But like, I feel like a lot of people have evil eyes or know that they're like a spiritual symbol, but my grandma really used them for protection. So my mom and I bought this evil eye and she's always put evil eyes like in my car or, in my house. And I have always just kind of like either not brought them to the next house or taken them down, or I don't know. I just like didn't really understand the significance of it. And as you guys know, intention has such a big place in what you're doing because intention is energy. And when you have more intention behind things, they actually work and they actually, really just kind of give more energy to whatever you're doing. And when you understand what you're doing and why you're doing it, you can do it better. We go into this spiritual shop and she's like, you don't have an evil eye in your house. Do you want to get one? And I was like, well, I don't really like, sure, but like, why do we need evil eyes? And she's like, so basically what she told me is that when people come into your house or when people see you and they are jealous of you or they're sending you even unconscious negative energy, the evil eye absorbs it and wards it off. And my grandma really always had an evil eye and you're supposed to put it like in the front door of your house. And so we bought this beautiful evil eye to put in my house by my front door. And yeah, it just was like kind of a nice little teaching. So if you don't have an evil eye and you don't really understand what the evil eye does, that's kind of what it does. It wards off negative energy and just make sure that you are kind of protected against, like, let's call them spells, Spells are just thoughts that people are projecting out onto you. And you can even be putting spells on others when you're thinking negative thoughts about them. And then you're kind of like wishing that, right? Every word that we're saying, it's going into this fabric of the universe and it's heard by God and it's heard by the energy that creates worlds. And so it's all kind of affecting each other, good and bad. And so you just want to use the evil eye to protect you. And if you don't have an evil eye, then go get one. Go get one and put it in your house in the front door. Or if you, share an apartment, then maybe in your room, whatever feels right. But evil eye codes. I'm going to make a quick assumption about you if you listen to Alignment Academy, the podcast, that ever since you were little, you just had this deep feeling that you were meant for big things in this world. You weren't here to be ordinary, but you were here to be a mover and a shaker. Hi, I'm Kristen, and same. Except for years, I was self-sabotaging because even though I felt in my soul that I was here to do extremely big things, I could not stop procrastinating, self-sabotaging, feeling massive amounts of imposter syndrome, and don't forget getting triggered as fuck every single day of my life. And honestly, I didn't know what to do. And then I found inner work. I found energy healing. I found all of the modalities that I still use today. The spiritual tools that I use feel like I found a hack to this universe. Like, the rules don't apply to me because I know how to shift my vibration. I know how to reprogram my subconscious mind. I know how to give myself any beliefs that I want to believe about the world, like money comes easy to me and the rules don't apply to me and I don't need a real job. These are all just beliefs that I believe about myself. If you're similar to me, you know you have a big mission, but you know it's also time to get out of your own way and heal your blocks for good so you can actually just take action on your mission. This is why I created Alignment Academy, the membership. Inside this membership, you are going to get everything from live coaching sessions with me monthly, all of my best-selling heart work meditations and hypnosises. You're going to get all of my energy healing activations to do energy work on yourself anytime you want. Not to mention, as soon as you enroll, you get a library of 9 past masterclasses and 8 on-demand meditations. But the very best part is the people in the community. This is some of the most heart-centered, amazing humans I've ever come in contact with. Honestly, people have made friends in this group. They've met up in person in this group. It's the place to be. This is seriously the only space on the internet that weaves quantum manifestation, inner work, and business to help you quantum leap in your soul's growth and your business growth. If you're serious about healing, getting out of your own way, and taking massive action this year, then join with the link below. See you inside. Me and my mom, I had a really beautiful moment with her. And the second day she was here, it was like really hot in San Diego. It was like 80 degrees and that's like hot for winter. And we go to the beach and she's like, I want to go feel the water. And she's always very like, she loves the water. And okay, so if you follow me on TikTok, you probably remember this video. I had this video where about a year ago, my mom came to visit me and I took her to Laguna Beach and I treated her to this beautiful vacation. And at the time, I was definitely still sad about my breakup. This was like over a year ago. And I was definitely still going through it. Unfortunately, I'm not anymore. I'm very happy now. And in Laguna Beach, she was kind of just trying to do anything and everything to kind of help me get over it. And she's like, I think we need to go jump in the water. And I was like, okay, we go jump in the water. We do a cold plunge. I do a meditation before, she prays before, and then I go jump in the water. And it was like the first time I felt better in months. I felt so good. I felt happy. It was just like this beautiful experience. And then if you guys remember me and Natalie's episode, me and Natalie started cold plunging in San Diego like 3 times a week. But the backstory to that is because my mom actually was the one that forced me to go cold plunge. She didn't really force me to cold plunge. She didn't even call it that. She was like, let's just go jump in the ocean. Like, you don't feel good. It's going to help you clear your energy and feel better. And so after that, me and Natalie started cold plunging in the ocean. And that was the thing that honestly healed my depression so much and helped me just start feeling better in my body. It gives you a big boost to serotonin. I mean, if you haven't listened to me and Natalie Waller's episode, go listen to it. It's like a good one. And we talk about how we would go do Joe Dispenza meditations and cold plunge in the ocean when we were extremely depressed. But yeah, so my mom started that. And anyway, this time my mom and I, we went to the beach. We were like just sitting there and I'm like, let's go cold plunge together. And so I haven't really cold plunged in a while. Like I said on Natalie's episode, it's freaking cold in the water. Like I do not want to cold plunge. And so we end up going in and we are like literally splashing around like little girls. We're like going under the waves. We're having so much fun. And I just like start bawling my eyes out. And I'm like, I can even like cry, start thinking about it. I'm like, oh my God, like it's a year later and I'm actually so happy this time. Like I'm actually so grateful. And she was like, why are you crying? And I'm like, I'm so happy this time. We did this a year ago and I was so sad. I was so upset. I was so, hurt and now I'm not. And that's just so beautiful. Like I've come so far and I'm so grateful for this life. And, the sun's beautiful and there's birds. Like it was just a beautiful moment. Anyway. So after that, me and her go sit on the sand and we're just like sitting in the sun, basking in the sand after our cold plunge. And I see her praying. And so I don't interrupt her because her lips are moving and I can just tell like she's praying and she's looking at the ocean and she's finally done like 10 minutes later. And I'm like, what were you praying for? And I don't know why I'm so emotional about this, but I just love my mom so much. And she just left and I cried this morning. So I feel like it's just still in me. And she was like, I was praying for you in your life and I was praying that you meet a beautiful husband and that you have a beautiful family and that you're more happy. Whew. And it was really just like a beautiful moment between my mom and I. Why do I always cry on the podcast, guys? I love you guys so much. It's just I want to share all the moments with you, but it's also so beautiful that I get to like reflect on these moments and feel gratitude again, because like when the fuck am I going to just sit in my living room and just reflect on this? Probably never. Okay, so anyway, so she's praying and I asked her like, well, how were you praying? Like what were you doing? That was a long prayer. And she told me there's this prayer that I say where you say it 19 times and then at the end you ask God for what you want. And if you remember in my Peru episode, I told you that something that I loved is that when the Peruvians pray, when, the people of the land pray, it's like, it's not just asking for what you want. Like you give to God first and then you ask, right? And so I thought it was so beautiful that she was doing the same thing. And so I asked her to teach me the prayer. And it's like the hard part is like my grandma and my mom speak Arabic. So like most things are in Arabic. But anyway, this prayer was translated to English, but even the English translation was like really, really hard to understand. But anyway, I wanted her to teach it to me. And so we ended up doing it together and then we asked and prayed together and it was just like so special and it was so nice. And I just like felt like it was a really beautiful thing. So I wanted to read you because basically she sent me the prayer and then when I was reading the prayer, I was like, can you tell me the English translation of this? Because I don't really get it and I want to understand it. You guys know I'm like a understanding girly and I was like, I need to understand what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And I know I'm going to be able to do it better. And so she was like, yes, I will totally, explain it to you. And she did explain it to me, but then I ended up putting it in ChatGPT and I was like, hey, this is a Baha'i prayer. Can you tell me about it? And like ChatGPT gave me this amazing information about it. So I'm literally going to read it to you. I basically sent the prayer to chat and I was like, told me to tell me about it. And it said, this passage is from Baha'u'llah. And Baha'u'llah is basically in the Baha'i faith. That's kind of like one of their gurus or leaders or whatever persons that's close to God. Again, I'm not Baha'i, but my mom is Baha'i. So this is like her religion. But the basis of the Baha'i religion is so beautiful. It's like, if you believe in any God, it's all the same God, and they respect all religions because they believe all religions is like the same God, and that's the basis of it. So, but they do have, their people that they follow. So anyway, it says this passage is from Baha'u'llah is a prayer for guidance and detachment in one's affairs, emphasizing trust in God and the pursuit of what is truly beneficial. The prayer is, thou seest me, O God, detached from all save thee and cleaving unto thee. Guide me then in all mine affairs unto that which profiteth me for the glory of thy cause and the loftiness of thy station of thy loved ones. Can you guys see why I was like, I do not know what this means. Like, please tell me what it means. So she tells me what it means. And then I, put this into ChatGPT and then I asked it to explain the whole thing to me. And so it says, repeat this prayer 19 times. The prayer asks God to see the person as fully devoted and detached from everything except him, aka God. So beautiful, guys. The prayer asks, I'm saying it again because I want to really emphasize this point. The prayer asks God to see the person as fully devoted and detached from anything except him. It requests divine guidance in all matters, leading towards what is most beneficial and aligned with God's purpose. Literally, divine guidance in all matters, leading towards what is most beneficial and aligned with God's purpose. So really what I'm getting out of this is that you are detached from all external circumstances, all outcomes except God's will, and you are trusting in what is most beneficial and aligned with God's purpose. So you repeat that 19 times, and then you reflect on the situation before taking action. Then the person should think carefully about their affairs and trust that whatever inspiration or idea comes to mind is the right path to take. Even if enemies or difficulties arise, they will eventually disappear, making way for success, peace, and harmony in one's life. And so you repeat the prayer 19 times, you meditate on your affairs and see if you get any guidance, and then you ask for what you desire and trust that God's will is the best will, and you've asked for what you want, and now you let go and you receive. And so it was so beautiful. We did that together, and then I asked her what she wanted me to pray for her, and then I told her what I wanted her to pray for me, and it was just like a really beautiful moment. And I'm gonna just continue to say this and weave this prayer into my life, and I loved it. So that was a really cool code for my mom and grandma. The next thing that she told me, it's really like simple and not too much to say about this, but she was telling me that every time that my grandma moved into a new house, she would take rice and salt and then pour it out the front door. And what that did was it cleared all the negative energy of the house, and it also invited in prosperity with rice. And so that was like a really cool thing, very witchy, might I say. But the other thing that my mom told me is that salt, my grandma used salt all the time. And I actually have done this too, even when I worked with like my shaman when I was around 19 or 20, we always used salt to cleanse. And so what we would do is we would like, whenever I would have a session with her, she would say, you need to salt cleanse every day in the shower or go to the ocean, right? So salt cleanses energy. It cleanses, energy in yourself, energy from others. It's just a cleanser. And so when you go in the ocean and you get in that salt water, you kind of leave like feeling like, oh, like I just feel like energetically clean and pure and refreshed. And it really does cleanse energy. And even when I was working with my shaman, when I was younger, when she said you need to take a salt shower, so I'd have to get either sea salt or pink Himalayan salt. You can't use like regular salt. Like you shouldn't use like table salt. But then what I would do is, I can't really show you guys and not hold the microphone, but basically I would take some in my hand, I would rub it in my palms, and then I would wash it off. And then I would rub it under my armpits, and then I would wash it off. And then I would rub it on the bottom of my feet, and then I would wash it off. And my mom said also my grandma Teta would also use salt in the shower to like cleanse. So that was cool. Quick interruption to this episode because I have to tell you something. And what I have to tell you is I'm literally freaking obsessed with doing energy work. This has been one of my favorite modalities that I've added to my spiritual toolbox to shift my energy really freaking quickly. And as you guys have learned in Alignment Academy, this is a vibrational based universe, meaning as your energy shifts, the reflections in your life also shift. People that you're attracting, the experiences that you're attracting, the money you make, literally everything shifts. In Alignment Academy, my membership, part of it is that there are guided energy works added to the portal every single month. And I really want you to be able to experience this energy work because, guys, it literally works so quick. Your reality shifts so quick. The testimonials have been insane inside of Alignment Academy. So because you're a listener of Alignment Academy, I'm offering you a free guided energy work session in exchange for rating and reviewing the podcast. All you have to do is follow my podcast Instagram at Alignment Academy Pod on Instagram. And then after you've rated and reviewed the podcast, just screenshot it, send me a DM on Alignment Academy Pod, and I'll send you the link to download your free guided energy work. During this energy healing session, we're going to be working on your confidence and your self-love. When you are filled with your own confidence and your own self-love, you are magnetic as fuck to the rest of the world. Magnetism is created when we are so filled up with love for ourselves. It's also created when we just really fuck with ourselves super hard. Like think about really magnetic people. They're not asking other people to like them or validate them. They're just like, I really fuck with me. And if you want to too, then yay. And if not, then it's all good. I can't wait for you to try this energy healing. Please DM me and let me know how it goes. And now let's get back to the episode. Now, this one is a really, really beautiful one. So my mom has always done this thing where if I were to break a plate or I would break a glass or I would break something, she would say this Arabic thing. She would say, oh my God, I literally actually don't even know how to say it because it's in Arabic, but I'm going to just tell you. I'm going to try. It was Nikasha Shar. Nikasha Shar. That's not how you say it. Just definitely not how you say it. Yeah, my mom and my grandma speak Arabic. I don't. Anyway, but basically what it translates to, the rough translation is, may it take away the evil or may it absorb the harm. And basically my mama would say she'd be like, Nikasha Shar. It's okay. It took away the bad thing that's going to happen. I looked it up because I wanted to understand more about it and I wanted to know a little bit more. And basically it's commonly said when something breaks or when an accident happens, much like the idea that the broken object has taken on the misfortune for what was meant for that person. It reflects the belief in divine protection that the loss of the object can prevent greater harm or bad luck from affecting someone. And she always used to tell me this when she was little. She was like, that broke so something else didn't. Like that took the bad energy from something else that was going to break. And it was actually a really beautiful thing because whenever we broke things when we were younger, or, I would break her plate or I would break her dish or, we would lose something, she'd just be like, Nakasha Shar. That's not how you say it, but like, you get it. She would say that thing and it would take away the bad from it. Yeah, it says why it said if a glass breaks or a dish shatters or something valuable is lost, saying this acknowledges that this was a form of protection rather than a random accident. It's a way of accepting fate with gratitude and believing that something worse was avoided. This phrase is a beautiful cultural and spiritual reminder to trust the divine wisdom and see loss or accidents as a potential blessing in disguise. And so I thought that was beautiful. I'm definitely going to take that. I need to learn how to say it in Arabic for sure, but for sure a code from the ancestral realm. And, the next time something breaks or you break something, instead of thinking, holy shit, what's wrong with me? This sucks. Maybe you'll remember this and remember that it took away the bad or the harm from something else that was going to break or something that could have been avoided. So yay. And then the last thing I think is the thing that I want to say is, so we went to the beach one more time and I was like, should we pray? Like, do you want to say that prayer again? And she was already praying again. My mom, she does love to pray. She told me that when she goes to the beach and she has enough time, she says an even better prayer. And I was like, what do you mean even better? And she's like, well, Tata taught me this prayer and it's so good. She said, you say it 99 times and then you ask for what you desire. And it's an even more powerful prayer. And she just said it was just like the one that my grandma said all the time. And my mom used to pick up my grandma and she would take her to the beach. And in Florida, there's this beach where you can like drive up, and my mom would drive her to the beach. And my grandma would sit in the car and she would, say the prayer and then ask God to pray for everyone in her life. And my mom told me that, in the drive up beaches in Florida, like you have to pay $5 or $10 to drive on. And she said that the guard knew that they were just going there to pray. So the guard would always just let them in for free, which I thought was so cute. And so there was this other prayer. It was actually, okay. So again, my grandma has studied all the religions. Like she loved Jesus. She was Baha'i. She studied the Muslim religion. Muslim. You guys know what I'm saying. My mom says it different. So sometimes I try to say it how she says it. She studied the Muslim religion, and my grandma said that this was a prayer. I think it's a Muslim prayer, but my mom said that this was one of my grandma's favorite prayers, and she would do it all the time, and this one really works, apparently. Okay, so actually, before I tell you guys this, I know a lot of times we're like saying it 19 or 99 times, and I asked my mom what was the spiritual significance of like this number 9 or 19 or 99, and basically Baha'u'llah, or was it Abdul Baha? There's two like leaders in the Baha'i faith, and I honestly don't know which the difference is. But anyway, one of the main spiritual leaders in the Baha'i faith had 19 disciples. And so 19 is like a very spiritual, like the number 9 is just a very, very important number in their religion. So that's why everything is like 99, 19. And this other prayer, it's this Arabic phrase that's, again, I'm not saying it right, but this is how I'm saying it in English. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, something like that. And how it roughly translates in English is, There is no power nor strength except through God, or Allah. There is no power nor strength except through God. And this phrase is often used in Islamic teachings to express reliance on God, acknowledging that all strength, ability, and change ultimately comes from Him. It is frequently recited as a form of remembrance and as a way to seek help in difficult times. And again, you say it 99 times and then you ask for what you want. This one is special though, because you have to do it. Well, she said you don't have to do it, but my grandma liked to do it at the beach. And what you do is that you watch the waves, and every time you say this prayer, you pick a new wave. And you see the wave and you concentrate on the wave. And then you say it again and you pick the wave and you concentrate on the wave. And then you do it again and you pick the wave and you concentrate on the wave. And so when we were at the beach, we did it with the waves. And it was really beautiful because while we were doing it, it was like this form of moving meditation. And it also reminded me of how much abundance there is. Like, look at the water teaches me so much about abundance. Like, when I was healing my lack mindset, I would always watch water and be like, wow, like it's always coming in and going out, but there's always enough. Like, look at that. Like, that's how money is. It's always coming in. It's always going out, but you always have enough. It's just, it teaches you so much about abundance. And I felt that with the waves, like, wow, there's always going to be another wave. There's always going to be another wave that you can pray on, and you never run out of waves, or you never really need to wait for the waves. Like, there's always more. And so we did that. And that was a really beautiful prayer moment we had together as well. But yeah, those are some codes for my ancestors. My grandma also really loved, like, it's funny, I learned this thing in Peru where, you know, you use flower water to clear your energy. And my grandma always used to do that with rose water. She would always have rose water, rose perfume, and just be spraying it around her. And now I'm realizing, you know, they call it like agua de Florida in Peru. And when my mom saw me do that, she was like, Tata used to do this all the time. And I was like, oh, she did? And she was like, yeah. And now I'm realizing, like, when she would spray rose water all over her, she was clearing her own energy. So damn, I wish my grandma was alive now so she could teach me all these codes, but at least I have my mom to pass them down. That is the episode today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. I would love to hear your thoughts and all, you know, your takeaways from this episode. I'm sure that you have some. So I always love when you guys enter my DMs. And if you're listening on Spotify or even YouTube, please like the video on YouTube, rate me 5 stars on Spotify, or leave me a review on Apple. I know that this is annoying maybe to ask, but it's a small ask. And guys, this podcast is a lot of energy for me to put out, for me to pay for all the things. And it's just a small thing that actually does help the show grow so much, and that I can keep doing it and bringing on better guests and all the things. So please, if you liked this, please just give me your love. And as always, I can't wait to see you in the next episode. Bye.